Well, hello, hello, hello. We're getting ready to go live. Sports edition backstage. How's Jack City? We're waiting on the man, the myth, Robert K. Eggers. That's a psychedelic chair that you could see in the background, and I'm rocking my Bass Pro Shops hat. One, Bass Pro Shops is cool. Number two, it's green. We're still in May, Mental Health National Awareness Month. So I'm going to continue to rock it out. Also, I'm wearing today some Pink Floyd. My man who just passed away, the great Bill Walton. Rest in peace, Bill. We'll get into that. We're going to talk about that on the show. We got some other things to chat, just some real life things, you know. Today's show's it's not really a scripted show, but we do have a guest, another big guest that's going to be coming up. So we'll be teasing that and giving you guys
Oh, yes, Roy.
a
Thank you for
little bit about
saving it.
that. Yes, sir. So we're gonna tease the guest, Bill Walton. I was telling the kind folks out there, Rob,
Mm-hmm.
wearing the green still for mental health awareness. Bill Walton, wearing a little Pink Floyd for him. Long live Bill Walton. You know he's gonna rest in peace now, and
Yes, absolutely.
so the chair is yours, my friend.
Yes, I did it again. I forgot to press the loop button, so it brought you right in. Surprise, Roy.
Hey, at least I didn't do Garth, like
Surprise.
Wayne and Garth. Remember back in the day?
Good old Wayne's World. How can I
Yeah, and
forget?
it went live, and Garth's like,
Right? Couldn't- And he
I
could
didn't do a Garth, so
he couldn't handle it. So yeah, we're definitely
no,
I
I got
forgot to
you,
press
bro.
that loop button, but you know what? I can always do this.
It's all good,
Everyone,
bro. I took
everyone's
the
gonna love
wheel,
this.
but
Thank you
now
for
the
taking it.
chair is yours. So
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and step on the brake a little bit. Here we go. That's right.
Dubby
As you have right behind you, Roy. You just got that new Dubby
sweatshirt.
sweatshirt and it looks
Kind of
pretty
got the
dope. I like
DX.
it.
It's almost DX logo like because it's like got that
It is.
neon green on it, so it reminds me of DX.
Reminds me of Ecto Cooler back in the
Because
day.
people
Remember
don't know what
Ghostbusters?
DX is.
Yeah.
Degeneration X was from wrestling, of course. We might have some.
WWE, Shawn Michaels,
I
Triple
don't
H.
want to just talk, lingo, and people be
Yeah.
like, "What's he talking about?" So I want to keep it simple. DX was Degeneration X, wrestling, WWE, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, that whole faction. So that's all. Keeping it simple. Keeping it simple.
I'm loving it. I want to give a shout out to my boy Dre. We know Dre, you were his neighbor.
This house, that window behind me, this
That's
house
his
is
old house.
right out that window.
So shout out to my boy Dre, our boy Dre, and
Didn't he drive a
yeah,
Camaro back in the day?
he did. He
I
did.
remember
That
the Camaro.
yeah.
97, like, it was like when he moved in right after
Yeah.
Corey left.
Unfortunately, it was taken from him. So
And I got
that
his
was
rim, man, that old basketball rim that was outside.
yeah.
Right before the guy sold the house, I took that rim, dude. I was like, "I need that rim
I'm
because it
glad you
had a
did.
spring in there, it was spring loaded." And my rim was so rusty and it was bad, so I took mine down, put the spring loaded one in. Dude, all I gotta do is paint the backboard, spray my new orange X in the middle. I mean X, square, DX, see? No, put my new, square in the middle. We're ready to roll.
Well, I got to do it proper since we got some people in here now. I put it on the didn't put the loop on, so we're gonna bring it in proper. And
We're gonna bring it in proper?
we gotta bring it in proper.
We're gonna do
Let's do it. Okay. All right. That's how you bring it in proper. That's how I make it up for having Roy get Garth right in the beginning. He's like,
the
"Oh
new
shit,
ending.
we're live. We're live." Well, you know
We
what?
did it.
We're not the only streamers that
did the Scooby-Doo.
went live on accident. Jinxie for you guys that like video games. He was live earlier, and he was like, "Wait, I was live on Twitch." He was live to 29,000 people during
Good
the
thing he
day, and people were
was
like,
he appropriate?
oh, he was appropriate, and
All
he's
right,
very
good.
lucky because he's one of the top video game streamers in the world, so
All
he
right.
better be staying appropriate. But hey, whatever. Hey
Yes,
guys,
sir,
listen,
man.
we have a good show today.
And we do.
It's just a live show,
A little loosey
and
goosey.
yeah, we're not doing anything crazy. We just wanted to come on and whoa, slowing it down a little bit. Okay, daydream, slow it down just a little bit. Okay, but anywho, so yeah, we got Bill Walton. You're talking about Bill Walton. He just passed away, 71 years old. The
Yeah.
man, lived a great life.
Oh, he lives
Um,
a rock and roll
you
lifestyle.
know, so my condolences and
That's why
love
I'm
to
wearing the
his
Pink
family.
Floyd.
I love it.
Mr. Bill Walton, man.
Yeah. I'm playing this nice. This is one of my favorite tracks, but I say it every show. It's called Daydreaming. It's just a good transitional piece. Makes us feel good, baby. Feel good.
Yeah,
And
baby.
we have to feel good today because, man, what a mental health weekend we have. It was Memorial Day. We want to thank everybody out there that served our country, to the ones who currently and the ones who served and died for our country. We want to thank you and happy Memorial Day to everyone. I hope you had a safe and fun Memorial Day weekend. As I would sit here and lie to you and say I did, Roy, but I did not enjoy my Memorial Day weekend.
It is
That's okay.
what it is, right?
It is what it
And
is because
no apologies
yeah,
needed.
yeah. I mean, it's not anything to where I hated it because I was bored or anything like that, or didn't do what I wanted to do because I didn't go eat at the restaurant or eat at it or something like that. No, our cat, which is 17 years old, diabetic, which she's been on the show. We put him on. I put him on, I should say. You put yours on as well. Good old Elvis. And he had a digestive issue and just kept having issues using the bathroom. And we thought it was it. We thought that he's gonna die from constipation. He was not passing the shit. So finally this morning, fast forwarding, it's like you're staying up with your child, like he is a child, right? I think your pets should be a child. We're sitting there and just taking turns, and she was great by keeping him comfortable. I'm talking about my lady Christy by keeping her cat. 17 years she's had him, and he's a survivor, man. He is an effing survivor. So I want to give it up to Sammy, my cat.
Yeah, man.
And Roy gave a great prayer, and the next day he's right back to normal. He looks exhausted, but he had a TMI,
Well,
guys. His turd was about that big, and that was the best turd and the most relieving turd
I
I
bet,
think I've
man.
ever seen.
He might have been. He was
Never been so
constipated.
excited to see
Thank
shit.
God it wasn't a blockage, right? And he
Yes,
didn't need a surgery or something. But yeah,
yeah. But other than that, I mean, yeah, man, we're talking life right now. Our pets, 9 lives, we're coming down to the end. It seemed now, like I said, and you said you had a little scare as well, Roy. Um, and I know your boy is doing just fine. So,
yeah,
spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
yeah. So Bear, right? He's when we got Bear, he was a stray cat. Somebody in Oswego called, and so we got this cat here. So my my wife at the time was like, any cat that was available, we just automatically would take it, right? And I went along with it. So anyway, we take them, and so since we had a lot of cats, we thought, oh, this he'd be good for my parents, right? Because my parents didn't have any pets at the time. So, my parents, kind-hearted people they are, and my dad, an animal lover, and that, and they took him and they fell in love with him. My dad, especially, that was his favorite cat. He slept with them, and just that was his guy. So we found out Bear was FIV. If you don't know what FIV is, that's HIV equivalent to a feline. Vet said he could be okay. He could live with that, which he still is, right? So think of him as the Magic Johnson of the cats, right? Still going, no complications. And then he was all like stuffed up, and his nose was just So he had what I had, a deviated septum. So he had to have the same exact surgery I had, right? So now
Right.
we do have this major surgery, and this is how it's going, and we're putting a lot of money into him. So long story short, fast forward, and he's just about the age of your cat.
Hmm.
We don't know exactly how old he is, but if we had to guess, he's diabetic. Give him the insulin shots 2 times a day, just like you. But he got really sick, and we were concerned that maybe he just you don't know, right? So he had pancreatitis. So 2 little squirts a day in his mouth with a dropper, and then an antibiotic, and then a pain pill. And he just we went to a prayer Bible study meeting last Wednesday. Prayed for him, even though he's not a human, and it wasn't like some people were praying for life and death situations of humans, right? But I said, to me, he's just as important, right?
Right.
He's kind of the last link to my dad here. So 24 hours later, he did a 180, and thank God he's okay. My mom sleeps with him now, and she's kind of took him over as like my dad did. So I'm just grateful that we get to spend more time with him. This whole death thing, I know it's very controversial because some people tell me, there's somebody listening to the show right now I know who's been in the same boat with her pet that's been sick and doesn't deal with death well. So I have some people that are very empathetic and they get it. And then some people just are like, well, let's get over it, right? Like, we're all going to be together again one day. So just accept it. And I don't like that approach about just accept it and move on. I don't like that approach. That doesn't work for me.
Right.
Okay. I know it's part of life. I know if you're a believer and you're saved, and some people have, gotten on me about that, which I'm not going to get into that. That's just whatever. But the point of the matter is, this people, again, I'm going to say this again. Let's just be more empathetic. You know, okay, you got a fingernail problem. It might have ripped. It might hurt like hell, and it might just
Shit does hurt.
mess you up the whole day. Okay,
Mm.
hey, I'm sorry to hear that, Rob, and I'm gonna be supportive. I'm not gonna be like, dude, it's just a fingernail, get over it. I'm just tired of people putting on a scale of importance of what's bad and what's not bad, and how you should be tough. Man, we got to change that behavior. So I'm sorry. I don't mean to get on a rant about that. I know, but we got to do better, people. Just be empathetic, man. That's all. What does it cost to be empathetic?
Hey, man, we both had a day. And it's okay. That's why we're here, man.
With the
Yeah.
magnitude of what's important of tragedy versus not tragic on the
Right.
scale, it doesn't matter. If it's bothering you and you're my best friend and I love you, brother, then it's gonna bother me and it's important to me too. Okay? And I think that if we did that, if society did that for everybody, we'd be better off. So anyway,
Well,
I digress. I had to get that out. Feels good.
it
Feels
does
good.
feel good. It does feel good. And that's okay. And that's why we're here, man. That's why we're doing this. And, that's why we
Yeah.
want to. And another reason why we're doing this is because we want to do this as a career. Okay. This is something we are been looking for a long time. Let's be real.
We've
Right.
been doing
So,
this since '95, right?
right.
Well, you started at '95, and then I kind of jumped in, right after it.
So we decided
When you do
to
something so
start.
long in your life like that, it's part of who you are,
That's
right?
right. So, Roy, what we decided to do is we decided to start a good old donation for PayPal. So it's in our YouTube page, and go to the comments and click on the link there and see if it takes you to it. Oh, it's not going to share that. Let me share that. Oh, there we go. There we go. Boom. Takes you right to it. And our goal is to collect $5,000, but that's not what we're really looking for. I wanted you to pick a goal. We're like, yeah, let's just put $5,000 in there. If it reaches that, holy crap,
I mean, if
we'll be
Elon
doing some
Musk is
giveaways.
watching
Trust me.
this or Mark Cuban is watching this, by all means.
But there we go. There's our story. We're two gentlemen who love God. I'm going to put my glasses on for this because I don't want to make myself look like a
Okay.
fool. All right.
Yeah.
There we go. All right. We are two gentlemen who love God and are passionate about reaching out to the mental health community. We recognize the challenges of living with mental health issues. While not everyone may understand, we want to assure you that we do, And our aim is to entertain and welcome you back for our next episodes. We are passionate about everyone and aim to improve our podcast with numerous high profile guests soon. Our goal is to turn this into our career, allowing us to concentrate on mental health while also providing entertainment. And I hope you guys understand this is our mission, this is our goal.
Yeah, man.
We're not asking for much. Any donations are literally welcome and appreciated, and we really truly mean that. So we figured we share that. We're not begging. We're just trying to improve, and I think we're ready to do so because we have some news, and there he is right there, the story cat right there. Let me get a little Elvis. Look at Elvis's
Paw
face.
Chicago, Billy Corgan, Smashing Pumpkins started this up.
Hey, Elvis.
And this guy,
There's the
when I
man right
met
there. Look at
him,
him.
man, he's just the grooviest, coolest cat in the world, man. The chillest, grooviest. He's just, yeah, I love that guy, man. He
I
just
love it.
doesn't play well with others, so he's got to stay down here in the basement. Because if he goes
He's the
upstairs, the other
alpha.
cats, you might as well cue the Stone Cold Steve Austin break the glass because he comes in, he clears the room. Everybody else runs in fear and terror. So
It's insane. It's
yeah,
insane. Um, Here's the link to that, by the way, if anyone wants to take a picture of it. That is on our YouTube page. We do want to say hello to those watching on Twitter X right now, our YouTube channel, and on Facebook at our House Jack City Radio page. Make sure, if you haven't already, to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and this video. We just had Scott Spiezio on, and it's a great segue to kind of make people understand this is the reason why we're looking for donations. We have many other guests coming up, and we want to take this on the road, ladies and gentlemen. Like, we're literally wanting to, we have an idea, we want to go with it, and we feel that Roy and I talk off camera, and we talk behind closed doors a lot about our mental health to keep us going and striving. And I really feel that the Scott Spiezio show has really inspired us to really want to go further. And we want to, I mean, we're taking our our small fishing rod and taking the big one and
our
throwing
Biggie
the reel
Smalls.
out there further with bigger bait. And we want to see if we can get the big fish. And I think we've been catching some big fish. And I think it's just a matter of time. So,
It's just having a dream and a goal. I compare us to if you ever watched the Dave Matthews Story. They were like underground for a long time. I think they played throughout the '80s and then going into the '90s, and they were on a tour bus. And I remember Dave being on the bus one time saying how bad it stunk, all them guys together, all them hours, and they didn't, and then one of them was like, "Hey man, I think I got to quit this," because he's like, I got to get a real job. Like, things aren't really going the way they need to be. He's like, look at us all on here. Dave's like, listen, man, just give me a little bit more time. He's like, I got a vision. We got something that's different than what everybody else is doing out there. And boom, right? The rest is history. They blew
boom.
up and they made it. They got out from the underground. And so we've been the Dave Matthews Band of the sports world for years. But due to circumstances and things beyond our control, we just didn't get mainstream, so to speak. Well, we have big goals and we have things in mind. We have another guest coming up that I could say it. I've already talked to her, but Samantha Quigley, she's the head coach down at Southern Illinois University. She played for DePaul. She was the point guard. She graduated Joliet Catholic in '06. And then she went on to coach St. Francis and Joliet. And then she went on to coach Lewis University in a short amount of time. Now she's already at SIU, and her sights are set. I mean, guys, WNBA is hot right now. Let's face it. Caitlin Clark, if you're not watching her, she is amazing. Candace Parker just retired, but Caitlin Clark is coming in to claim that mantle. And I know there's many more. If you guys watched Chicago Sky lately, they got some good. They've kind of rebuilt, and she's got some really great stories playing with for Doug Bruno, the legendary Doug Bruno. And then, of course, Gino Ariema. I mean, they're all connected in that world. And I'm sure maybe even some Pat Summit stories might be out there too. So she's going to have a lot to say. And I'm excited to hear some of those things that she's got to say. She had a brother who played for the San Diego Padres, Joe Elliott Slammers. Her sister Allie played for the Sky that won the 2021 championship.
Mhm.
So I mean, her parents in their own rights were legends, and she's got some stories to tell too. Her life wasn't just a walk in the park. She had some adversity as well, and I'm not going to tell the whole story. I'll let her tell it. So stay tuned. We're going to meet with her probably next week, and you're going to see. You'll see her on the big stage, and when I say big stage, you're going to see her at one of these big time D1 schools eventually. She already made the East Suburban Catholic Hall of Fame last year, right? So she was the point guard on that squad, man, with her sister. And I love what she said. She goes, "My big sis right now, when she's done playing the WNBA, she's like, I got a spot, a chair open right next to me for her to come coach with me." So wow, how cool would that be? So that's going to be an interesting story right there, and how things have changed for women's sports. Because her mom, if the WNBA was around back then, her mom would have been there. I mean, her mom was like probably the greatest player in St. Francis history. When you talk about going back to Cheryl Swoops and some of these other athletes of yesteryear, um, she could have been right in that conversation of who the greatest. You go back in the NBA to Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, even George Mikan, Jerry
Right.
West. She was one of those pioneers. They just didn't have the WNBA back then. So I got to give her mom that credit that she's due, and she's very modest. But I'm going to toot her own horn for her. So these are the stories and people along the way that we're going to be talking to, and we got more. We're not stopping there. So we want to make this fun, informative, get you all excited, get you guys. See, I like to hear these stories of people that you just don't hear on an everyday basis, right? Scott Spiezio goes on every day, and everybody's going to want to talk to him about the home run. But we went deeper. We took a little deeper dive, and we found out at the end of the day, no matter how much money we have or don't have, we're all the same, man.
That's right. And we're at the 23-minute mark. And, I just wanted to just thank everyone that's watching us on YouTube right now, watching us on Facebook, and of course on X. We want to thank you guys. And if you haven't already, hit that follow button on X. We are building that channel authentically, as you can tell, brand spanking new. This podcast is going on to 12 episodes and a couple lives. We wanted to kind of reach you guys here on a Tuesday night. To me, Tuesday nights are chill nights, right? And there's been a lot
my
of
bowling night back in the day.
Yeah, Tuesdays are like a chill night, right? So why not come live with you guys and see how you all are doing? How was your weekend? How was your Memorial Day weekend? Did you spend it with family? Did you play bags? Did you get your ass kicked over the weekend for talking shit? What did you do? I'm talking about you bar goers, and that's what I mean by that, because sometimes you go out, you say some shit you're not supposed to say, and
because you had too much.
Had too much celebration. There's too much celebration will send you here.
And it was a bad weather weekend for a lot of people, man. As far as in the Midwest, I got to just say, I'm sorry. I pray and hope that all the people from the tornadoes over the weekend, they were nasty, man, nasty. Even in St. Louis in the Cubs Cardinal game, they had to delay that.
Right.
But this weather's been crazy, nasty. So
It's
hope
only a sight.
everybody's safe out there.
Yeah, it's only a sight to things to come, and it's not going to be fun for me here in Florida. I tell you that right now, because hurricane season is just about to start. Pretty much has started. So we're not really too happy about that. But
You had that story you should share sometime. I don't know if you want to share it now, but when you guys had just a few years ago when Fort Myers got really,
no,
really destroyed, and you had like
Hurricane Ian.
you had to
Yeah.
block up your windows and stuff like that, right? Put up some plastic in that,
Yeah, I mean, I was more.
barricade behind a couch or something.
Yeah, I was more inland. I wasn't, anything too crazy. I was more inland. Um,
But
but
still.
yeah, I mean, Fort Myers is about an hour and 15 minutes from us, I would say, south. Um, and we're more inland. We're basically where IMG Academy's at. All right, so we're not too far off from the Gulf, but we don't have to worry too much about flooding or intercoastal flooding, any of that stuff. But it was very scary. The winds were bad. Windows knocking. There was instances where we didn't know if something bad was going to happen. But it was just something that wasn't a great experience that I would suggest to anyone that wants to do it. I mean, listen, they have hurricane parties down here, Roy. And what
I've never understood those, by the way.
you know,
I've heard of those
yeah,
hurricane
they
parties.
have hurricane parties down here,
These would be
and
your, Gen Z, maybe millennials back in the day that would, say, "Hey, man, if we're gonna go out, we're gonna go out a bang," right? I don't know.
I mean, they go out there and hit the waves with their boogie boards, their surfboards, whatever. They just try to, they like
It's
to
a thing,
run,
man.
try to
Yeah.
run into the wind. I mean, you're an idiot. You're gonna have a stop sign coming by flying at you, or a car door or something, and you're done. You're obliterated. You
One of
know.
our listeners,
Mhm.
who I told you about her dog Ivy, but she asked me, she said, "What's worse, Roy, a hurricane or a tornado?" Now, I've never experienced both, kind of close to a tornado I've experienced, but you having experienced a hurricane and living in the Midwest, I'm going to defer that question to you because I think you're more qualified to speak on that.
Okay.
What's worse, hurricane, tornado?
Um, I want to say a tornado first, and here's why: because you don't really know when it's coming. You kind of do. You get the tornado warning, right? But you don't know if it's gonna be a big tornado. It either has the potential to be an EF1 or an EF5, right? And they don't really know until they really know, like last minute. And when you get caught in one of those on a highway and you have to pull off and go into a hotel, I was on 80 east coming back. Okay. And I seen the funnel cloud in the distance, and you can see the it come down, go back up, and it was just one of those tornadoes that just couldn't figure out what it wanted to do. So going into a hotel, late waiting in the lobby area, which was pretty big where I went, and a bunch of people doing the same thing, running in. Then all of a sudden the power went out, and then of course it's just like any other movie. Ah, the lights are out. We're all gonna die. Yeah, that one person, and it just causes the ripple effect. The kid's like, "Mommy, Daddy, we're gonna die," and it's just then your anxiety starts getting absolutely shit faced, lack of a better term, in that situation because you're like, "All right, I'm with people that could possibly get me killed," and that's where people I think panic the most. It's not the fact that what's coming could kill them. I think it's when you're in a crowd of people, you know that it's unhinged. Like everybody's just they lose it. They go into survival mode, like they'll do whatever it takes. They'll use you as a
Shield?
stepping stair, as a shield, whatever. I mean, it's pretty bad. So
Don't do that, people.
when it comes to that, being in a situation, not knowing, I say a tornado, but when it comes to hurricanes, when you know it's coming and you're stuck, like people in Fort Myers for Hurricane Ian, God bless all of them, man. Because I have stories. I have stories of a man that tried grabbing his neighbor, put her hand out. They clinched hands, and then the hands went away, and she went away into the hurricane, and it's not cool. It's very hard to hear, especially when you live down here and you start feeling it. And then obviously, people that's lived in tornadoes and the hurricane scene, and please comment and let us know if you've been through a hurricane or a tornado, what your experience was like. Honestly, it's the aftermath of everything when you go and drive around the neighborhoods and you're seeing people cleaning up and you see how people are upset. The energy around the neighborhoods is what really gets to you. It gets to you, to your heart. If you have a soul and a heart, you're God's person. you just want to get out and help as best you can. Even just run down your window saying, "You guys are good? Is everybody okay? Do you need me to call anybody?"
Bring them a water, bring them
Yeah,
some
something.
Burger King, go buy a 10 pack of White Castles. I don't know, something just to help people. Like, "Hey, let's eat,"
Mhm.
you know, get out of the car. I don't know, whatever you can do, just small little things, right? Pray with some people. I
Right.
don't know, just
It's just being kind, and it's just being kind,
yeah.
and I think it's doing the Lord's work. You have to understand that after something traumatic, like you talked about earlier, we're in Mental Health Awareness Month, guys. Still, it's the 28th of May. Wear green. I have my green screen back here, so kind of counts. Um, I'm not being a hypocrite about it. I have been wearing green. I have my Eagles green. I just can't wear green on the green screen. So please
Right.
understand.
Yeah.
Please understand. But
That's a technical thing for
yes,
behind the scenes.
yes. But I always will wear green. I'm going to be wearing green tomorrow on my Eagles shirt, and I will take a picture to prove it. Um, so overall, everybody copes differently. Everybody is going to take a little bit of time to figure out where they want to go in life from a traumatic episode like that. Like you just went through something. Like personally, I've never been through a hurricane. I've been through a couple tornadoes, not like severe tornadoes, but I've almost been in like directly in one, right? Where I had to pull over at that hotel. So that is the probably the most close call I've had with a tornado, and it's a little bit more scary, like I said, because you don't know where it's going, how long it's going to be on the ground, what type of tornado it's going to be. Hurricanes, you have a little bit more time to figure out what's going to happen. Do you want to leave? How are you going to bunker down? All that good stuff. But yeah, with that said, um, I'll stick with the tornado right now. But hey, it's going to be a very, very active hurricane season here in the Florida region. So stay tuned. I guarantee you my answer will probably change.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. I went through the 1990 tornado here in Plainfield, which was an EF5. Now, luckily, I wasn't in it, but I was close, and I'll tell you how close I was. My friend John, I'm going to give a shout out to him. He was a senior, and this is 1990. I'm a freshman, so $5 a week for gas, right? That's what he would charge me, and I'd ride with him. And we had a ride from Bolingbrook to Joliet because we went to Joliet Catholic. And there was a girl in the car that would ride with us. Her name was Carrie Ann. Anyway, long story short, we went to Silo by Louis Joliet Mall, which later became Circuit City, and now those are defunct. He was getting speakers for his car, and he was going to sit in the car and install those until I heard something on the radio saying something about a tornado. And he's like, it was sunny as can be. And he's like, dude, it's fine. I'm like, okay. It started getting dark, and he goes, oh shit, let's get out of here. So we get on Route 30 and we get on I-55, and I'm telling you, it was like a wall of black and blue in front of us. And we were like right on the midst of it. And I remember he was doing like about 80, 85, like just keeping going, northbound. Once we get off on Route 53, it was like 90 something degrees that day. It was so hot. And right when we got off at Bolingbrook Route 53, we opened the window, it was like 70 degrees. And we were like, damn, did it drop? And I came home and my mom just clutched me and she was freaking out. And we put on the news and it had just hit. So literally, I just missed it. Um, but the next day, we went to school and there was a girl in the class. She went out crying. They had like counselors there, and her boyfriend died in the tornado. I'm like, why are we here? Why was she here? Like, we shouldn't be here. And long story short, all we did in class all day was talk about stories. Our math teacher said her neighborhood was all wiped out and she came out and her house was the only one standing. So imagine that survivor's guilt. You're still in your house. You still got your food, you still got your AC, you still got all your stuff, and everybody else's houses are demolished. How would you feel?
mhm.
Like, and it was crazy. I remember the next day though when we went, the girl Carrie Ann was freaking out because she goes, "I haven't been able to talk to my dad. Her mom and dad were divorced, so she goes, I haven't talked to my dad in 24 hours. We can't get a hold of him." So after school, she said, "John, can you take me to where his restaurant is, or hopefully is still there?" Right. So we went and God, all the debris and the devastation, the cops, they wouldn't let you in unless you had an ID to prove that you lived in that subdivision. But we stopped at the restaurant. She went in, we held our breath, and she came out and she goes, "He's in there and he's okay." His
That's good.
phone line, landlines, they didn't have cell phone. Well, they did. John had a bag phone. But anyway, uh, he was fine, needless to say. But you imagine the terror of waiting 24 hours to find out if a loved one was even. There was no texting. There was no you just landline. That was it. And if your landlines were out, you didn't know, right? So
And that's how it was. And that's how it was for me. Um, when it was, let's see, I think it was 3 days, maybe 2 days with no phones. And that sucked because, all the towers were down and, not having a phone, it's pretty scary nowadays not having a phone, I ain't gonna lie. So,
well,
um,
dude, yeah. How you get a hold of 911 if you need them, or people that are dying to know if you're okay, right?
right.
They're like, "Oh my God, is Rob okay?" And it's
Yeah,
like you want to Morse code you or send a smoke signal or a pigeon bird with a note or something. It's like just give me a
right.
sign, something that you're okay, you know. So
Oh man. Well, Roy, I just want to say thank you to everybody that has subscribed, man. Our subscriptions have went up authentically with 18 in the past 2 weeks. We can't thank you guys enough. Please keep subbing and
thank you guys.
hit that notification bell.
Love you guys all.
Um I want to give some shout outs before we go here, Roy.
Yeah, I want to shout out again to Scott Spiezio for coming on. I mean, a selfless man. He didn't come in and say, "Hey, you got to talk to my agent or something," or I'm going to need about $10,000 to speak. I mean, he just came on and he was generous with his time. Thank you, Scott. All of our listeners, and I don't want I mean, to name names, it's hard because there's so many of them out there. I don't want to leave anybody out, but you know who you are. I talk to you folks. The people I talk to on a daily basis are, we know who we are. Thank you guys, everybody. It means a lot. This is been my life, my dream, and to do it with my best friend here that I've known since we were kids makes it even that much more special. So just thank you all, guys. We got some great stuff. We hope we make you laugh along the way. Hopefully, we're relatable and you can go, "Yeah, I've experienced that too." Uh, Maybe we're even like a therapy session. So
Yeah.
you don't have to pay $100 to go talk to a therapist. Just tune into us and, hopefully you feel better. So we're a
Well,
hybrid show, man.
yeah, man. We are a hybrid show. We're a show that is just trying to come on and hey, man, we're just trying to also decompress ourselves with our mental health, right? We have a lot going on in our lives, just like everyone else out there right now watching. You probably got some shit going on. And listen, we're all here for you. We're all trying to get through the same way. We got to keep pushing. We got to keep reaching out. We got to make sure that we stay on top. All right. And with that said, I want to shout at all you guys out there that have subscribed, listened to our show. The feedback is phenomenal. We love you. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. Roy, couldn't do this without you. Love you, man. We're going to keep this going. And we ain't stopping. So with the next show, please stay tuned to our Facebook, our Twitter X, our YouTube for more details on what's coming up next. We will have a show for you coming soon and a lot of surprises. So with that said, I'm Rob Eggers, Roy Herman. This is Backstage Sports Edition. See ya.